What is the purpose of life? Why do we exist if everything is destined to end? What happens after death? How can one live in a world so full of suffering? What really matters in life? And what drives a human being to ask these questions when he seemingly has it all? Money, success, and a loving family. Elements that many consider the pinnacle of happiness. Yet, there are times when even those who reach these milestones find themselves faced with deep and disturbing questions. This was the case with Lev Tolstoy, one of the greatest writers of all time, who experienced one of the most intense existential crises ever told. This video explores the extraordinary journey of a man who, despite achieving fame and fortune, found himself immersed in an abyss of doubt, a journey that led him to confront life's greatest questions and to find unexpected answers. Tolstoy was born in 1828 into a noble Russian family, immersed in the luxury of aristocracy. Orphaned at a young age, he was raised by relatives and at 19, inherited the immense Yasnaya Polyana estate along with hundreds of serfs. Despite this wealth, from a young age, he showed deep dissatisfaction and a divided nature. On one hand, he loved earthly pleasures such as gambling, drinking, and fleeting relationships. On the other hand, he was tormented by a strong morality that gave him a constant sense of guilt. His literary journey began with writing personal diaries, where he noted his faults and his attempts to improve himself. His early works, including Childhood and the Cossacks, reflected his personal experiences from his carefree youth to his military adventures during the Crimean War. Fame quickly came to him, bringing him into the literary circles of St. Petersburg and Moscow. However, despite his success, he felt out of place and often in conflict with his fellow writers. At the age of 30, he retired to his estate, seeking deeper meaning in life. There, he married Sophia Bears, a young woman of 17. The marriage brought stability, and the two shared a busy family life with their 13 children. During these years, he wrote War and Peace, an epic work that transformed Russian fiction and established him as one of the greatest writers in history. Yet beyond literary success and family stability, he was tormented by a growing dissatisfaction. He confessed that nothing, not even fame, could calm his sense of inner emptiness. This period marked the beginning of a crisis that, at 50, pushed him to question every aspect of his life, throwing him into a deep existential search. What is the meaning of existence? Where is the meaning in what we do if time inevitably erases every trace? These are some of the questions that became a torment for him, an obsession capable of calling everything into question. The most incredible aspect of Tolstoy's crisis is that it did not come gradually but suddenly and devastatingly. What had previously given him security and joy, such as the warmth of his family or the recognition of his works, began to seem empty. His days lost color, and every action seemed devoid of value. These thoughts did not remain confined to his mind but invaded his daily life. His nights were tormented by nightmares, and sleep became his only refuge from constant internal malaise. His days, however, were marked by a sense of uselessness that seemed to paralyze him. He describes this dark period in Confession, an intense and personal work in which he brutally reveals the depth of his confusion. In these pages, he wrote about his most intimate reflections, the nights spent contemplating the possibility of ending his own life, a thought that haunted him with an almost irresistible force. He confessed that he had to deceive himself to avoid taking extreme action, taking refuge in temporary distractions, but he knew he could not continue like this for long. This crisis was not only personal but also intellectual and spiritual. A curious and profound man, he decided not to give up and to face these questions head-on. Caught between the desire for an answer and the fear of not finding it, he embarked on an extraordinary journey, not through physical places, but through the pages of books, the thoughts of great philosophers, and observations of everyday life. He was searching for something that could fill the void he felt, something that went beyond success and material well-being. But every answer he found seemed to open up new questions. Every certainty crumbled under the weight of doubt. He continued to search, driven by a determination that led him to explore intellectual and spiritual territories he had never considered before. His first step was toward philosophy. He devoutly studied the works of great thinkers like Socrates, Buddha, and Schopenhauer in search of a key to understanding life's meaning. However, their ideas, while profound, only increased his sense of confusion. Schopenhauer, for example, with his philosophy based on the will as the dominant principle and suffering as the inevitable condition of existence, suggested that life was a continuous struggle without purpose. Tolstoy found no comfort in this view, feeling even more trapped in a circle of nihilism. Even the teachings of Socrates, though he admired their rationality, seemed insufficient to address his existential anguish. And Buddha's emphasis on overcoming desire and accepting impermanence seemed to him a path of renunciation, rather than a solution to his restless nature. Disappointed by philosophy, he turned to science, hoping that a rational and empirical approach might provide more concrete answers. He studied Darwin's theories and other emerging scientific ideas of the time, which explained the origin of life as a result of evolutionary processes devoid of purpose. But this only amplified the void he felt. Science, while powerful in describing the mechanisms of nature, could not answer the questions that tormented him. Why are we here? Why do we suffer? What happens after death? Science, to Tolstoy, seemed extraordinarily powerful in describing the how of the world, but profoundly limited in answering the why. Darwinism and biology reduced human existence to a mere struggle for survival, denying any possibility of transcendence or meaning. The combination of philosophical pessimism and scientific coldness left him disillusioned. He had searched for certainties, but found only explanations that seemed to deny any possibility of purpose or hope.
Yet Tolstoy did not give up. He identified four main approaches with which people deal with the absurdity of life. First, many people, he believed, ignored the problem completely, living their lives without reflecting on the meaning of life or the inevitability of death. The second approach was taking refuge in pleasure and immediate gratification, but this was merely a temporary distraction from the inner emptiness. The third, more extreme approach was to give up on life altogether, contemplating death as an escape. And finally, the fourth approach was a passive one, living in a state of limbo, recognizing life's absurdity but not confronting it directly. Though he found elements of truth in each of these approaches, none seemed capable of providing a definitive answer. But then he observed the simplest and humblest people, especially farmers, who despite their difficult lives, found strength in faith. This observation led Tolstoy to reconsider the value of faith, which offered answers where reason failed. Faith, in its simplicity, provided meaning, even in suffering. Through this new path, Tolstoy transformed his life, abandoning luxury, devoting himself to others, and embracing spirituality. This new way of living brought him peace that neither success nor rationality could offer. Tolstoy's experience teaches us that the meaning of life is not found solely in knowledge or pleasure, but in the ability to see beyond. Difficulties may seem insurmountable, but faith, in whatever form, offers a way to navigate through them. Tolstoy's experience teaches us that the meaning of life is not found solely in knowledge or pleasure, but in the ability to see beyond life's difficulties. These challenges, which can seem insurmountable at times, are not the end of the road. Faith, in whatever form it takes, can offer a way to cope with and transcend them. It provides a perspective that helps us find peace, purpose, and meaning, even amidst suffering. Through his journey, Tolstoy came to understand that living authentically meant embracing not only life's joys but also its sorrows, with faith acting as a guiding force. His transformation is a testament to the idea that the search for meaning is universal, yet the answers can be deeply personal. In conclusion, Tolstoy's Crisis and Ultimate Resolution highlight the limitations of philosophy, science, and worldly pleasures when it comes to answering life's deepest questions. His story serves as a powerful reminder that sometimes the answers we seek lie beyond the realms of intellect or reason. They are found in the simplicity of faith, humility, and the capacity to endure. And so, the question remains, what thoughts does Tolstoy's story inspire in you? How do you approach life's greatest questions? And where do you find your own sense of purpose? Warm greetings, and see you next time.